3 years later, a Pakistani court has sentenced 10 of the men who were involved in the 2012 shooting of Malala Yousafzai. All 10 have received 25 years in prison, which is considered a life sentence in Pakistan. And so it's not what we would consider a life sentence, but 25 years is still very significant. Those are for 10 of the men involved in the shooting. Unfortunately, the actual man who pulled the trigger, who actually shot her, is currently in hiding. They believe in a neighboring country. We don't actually know, unfortunately. And so not everyone who was involved in the physical shooting of her or the planning of the shooting of her back in 2012, those members of the Pakistani Taliban, not all of them have been found, let alone sentenced, but 10 of the men involved have been. And so it's taken 3 years, but this is some form of justice for Malala, who has been living in the UK with her family since recovering from her injuries.
Yeah, it's assuming that these are fair trials.
Possible,
dubious, but I mean, I feel neither way. But it's encouraging, and obviously this wasn't a couple of guys doing this. I mean,
yeah, it was a coordinated
effort that got the shooter out of the country.
Yeah,
that has the person who orchestrated it still at large, but again, a lot of other people involved in 25 years.
Yeah.
Again, you can't make them have a bigger sentence than they have. I'm glad they didn't execute him.
Yeah. Surprised.
Yeah.
In some way.
Yeah.
And let's remember that this wasn't just a random shooting. This was the sort of fundamental strike back against women, especially young women, having the gall to get an education. One of the most horrendous forms of political violence is trying to shut down women's efforts to get an education, whether in Pakistan or in some parts of Africa, as we've seen with Boko Haram, who literally has named themselves after their distaste for this sort of Western influence, like women getting an education. So all the more important that we have some form of justice, even if they have not yet been able to track down everyone involved in the shooting of Malala.